Our personal favorite trick of negative belief is the one you see called reward. This is one of its most insidious little tricks. Negative beliefs will actually use positive reinforcement to reward you for buying into the negative belief, so that you will then only recognize it as the thing to do. This is where it uses the motivational mechanism. This is where it attaches an apparently rewarding result to having chosen the negative path, and makes you feel good about yourself and makes you feel safe and protected for having chosen the safer path. Which is only another way of saying the negative belief in this case. So in recognizing that it does this, that it uses all these tricks, you can begin to really examine each and every one of these. And the way to use this template is to take specific negative belief ideas by examining them in ways that we have discussed before, by finding out what that belief is, such as, for example, I am unloved, and taking that and putting it in the center of that diagram and looking at all the different ways the tricks are used to reinforce the idea that you are unloved, and to make it seem like the thing to keep choosing, to make it justified, rationalized, rewarded, to develop the paranoia that forces you to not look for the reality where you are loved, one of the most insidious ways it has of reinforcing your inability to go in that direction is to make you believe that if you actually go looking for the positive side of that belief, you won't find it, and thus then when you go looking, you will then be disappointed. You will then find out that you really are as bad as you've been told you are. And so to avoid that reinforcement of the negative self at all costs, you will simply stay within the negative self. Look at how insidious that is. It's actually using itself to reinforce itself. By saying you don't want to go and find out that what I'm telling you might actually be true, because at least here you have a shadow of a doubt, a tiny shadow of a doubt. I'll allow you that much. That's your reward. But if you go looking to find out whether or not what I'm telling you is true, well, you'll only find out that what I'm saying is true, and then there'll be no doubt whatsoever. So at least stay here and hold on to that tiny crumb of a doubt. At least that will allow you to survive. Miserably, but survive. But if you go looking and find out that what I'm telling you is the absolute truth and you are worthless, well, then your whole world will crumble, then you will annihilate yourself, then you will not survive. Because how could you possibly survive absolutely knowing that you don't belong in creation? How can you survive absolute knowledge that you are worthless? How could you survive that? You can't, says negative belief. You can't. So stay here and just play with that little doubt that I'm giving you, that it, well, I don't know, it could be true, that, or maybe it's not, I don't know, but this is safer. At least here I'm alive, as miserable as I am, so I'll keep perpetuating this, and I'll bring the doubt with me, and I'll keep wondering, could it possibly be true that I'm really this worthless? Maybe I'm not. Oh, but if you go looking, you might find out that you are. Okay, I'll stay here. Again and 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 again. But now, allowing your higher mind through our reflection to you to see the diagram of the tricks it is using to create these scenarios, to create the illusion that you must perpetuate the negative belief. This diagram will now begin to imprint itself in your neurological net just by looking at it. From this point forward, you will not be able to forget that this bag of tricks is being used on you when you succumb to a negative belief. And that will give you an edge, just enough of an edge, so that when you find yourself falling into a negative belief and perpetuating it, then you will remember this template and suddenly go, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Something's breaking through. I'm getting a whisper. I'm getting an echo from the higher self that this might just be a trick. You'll start remembering that the bag of tricks is being used on you, and suddenly you will realize the fallacy of it. You will recognize that it is just a belief like any other belief, that you don't have to believe what it is telling you, that you can believe what you prefer. You can switch over to the positive frame of reference, that you have freedom, that you have choice, that you have inspiration, that you have growth, that you have positive synchronicity instead of negative synchronicity, that you can expand instead of contract. And you can start to see through the illusion that the negative belief is desperately trying to get you to believe, because it is basing that desperation on the idea that if you let that negative belief go, you will die along with it.